Hey everybody, welcome back to Brain Muffin at the Movies. And here we have another article from cheatsheet.com, becoming one of my favorite places to read Brie Larson and Captain Marvel articles. And this caught my eye because it was interesting. Brie Larson's Captain Marvel could have been an original Avenger. Why wasn't she? Again, as I've said in many of these other videos, I'm not familiar with the comic books of the last 20 years. And I'll just keep going. Marvel experts have often referred to Captain Marvel as the most powerful superhero in all of comics, and it's partly that power that kept her from being introduced earlier than she was. I think this latest incarnation that's the most powerful. I don't think she was previously. Brie Larson, because wasn't it Jubilee? Was it one of the X-Men? Wasn't it Jubilee? Rogue. I think it was Rogue. One of them took her powers years ago, put her in a coma. Brie Larson was cast as Carol Danvers to create fanfare for 2016, by which time the Larson had already won an Academy Award. Yeah, by the time her movie came out, that was all long done and forgotten about. The Captain Marvel film finally made its screen early this year, so 3 years later, setting the stage of Avengers Endgame and performing even better than expected. So what took Marvel so long? Who knows? There was another Captain Marvel. Viewers of a certain age may remember a Captain Marvel, but it's a very different character created by an entirely different company. Yes, I must say, I am one of those viewers of a certain age. This was Captain Marvel that was very similar to Superman. This male Captain Marvel had his own TV show in the 70s, who became what is now DC's Shazam. Yeah, I forget exactly how DC lost control over the Marvel. It was Captain Marvel for decades, and then Marvel, the character in the Marvel comic universe, was Miss Marvel for a long time. Confused, it actually gets even more tangled in. Okay, awesome. According to Forbes, the Shazam version of Captain Marvel was created during the 1940s by Fawcett Comics. DC, who had created Superman in 1938, said, "Hey, that's too much like our character." Yep. And sued. DC ended up purchasing the rights to the character, and that Captain Marvel name was still used in the 1970s TV show that featured Billy Batson rolling around the country. Yeah, I actually remember this. Naturally, Marvel didn't think too highly of a DC character being called Captain Marvel, so Marvel created their own Captain Marvel, who kept taking on various configurations before finally settling on Carol Danvers. Yes, but see, and then you have Cara Danvers as Supergirl, right? Former pilot configuration we know. Yeah, but see, I'm pretty certain in the 80s she was Miss Marvel. Here's a quick history. Carol Danvers was created in 1968, and she became Miss Marvel, appeared in the mid-1970s. She became Captain Marvel until 2012, by which time the MCU and their version of Avengers was already underway. Yeah, see, this was in one of many reboots. This comic has been rebooted multiple times recently. Shut up, dogs. Tubby, shush. I know, I'm reading. Screen Rant notes that Captain Marvel could have helped make the Battle of New York in the first Avengers a lot easier, done in 5 minutes. But that movie was a culmination of Phase 1, which introduced characters who had been familiar for decades. That's true. See, that's the other thing, too, is we got a slightly updated versions, in particular of Iron Man, and especially the look and everything. But these weren't out of character. And to a lesser extent, Black Widow and Hawkeye, yep, and Iron Man became this really big character. So to have Captain Marvel, what we've got now, especially in the comics, would just been ridiculous. As it happens, Carol Danvers had become so powerful that she developed some of the same problems that DC had dealt with with Superman. If the character is so powerful and can do anything, why everything? Why should he or she do anything? Paradoxically, she was boxed in by her own powers. Yeah. But Superman does have weakness with the kryptonite, and that does help with some of the bad guys who've gone against him. That's at least partially why Avengers Endgame used Captain Marvel only sparingly. And she hadn't really, when they filmed that, her movie hadn't come out yet. So there was a lot of weren't sure what was going to be covered in that movie, how things were going to go, nor how well she was going to be accepted. The filmmakers argued that with her around, it would have been too easy to defeat Thanos. Indeed, once she does come to the scene, she gets a hold of Thanos quite quickly. Not that it does the Avengers much good. Fans noted that as highly touted as Captain Marvel was, the established character of Scarlet Witch had almost defeated Thanos single-handedly. Yeah, and that's also something I brought up. So that came up in my other video. I've done it in several videos, and it's also the rumored video from back in March that it was Elizabeth Olsen who was the most ticked off. And I really now that I've seen a lot of that stuff from Endgame, I would have been too, because she built up and she was in Infinity War almost, she's destroyed. She slows down Thanos almost to the point where he can barely move, and with one hand, and with her powers in the other, destroys an Infinity Stone. Now he sets back time and just kind of undoes that, but that shows how powerful that character was, and it took everything out of her to do that, which is why when Thanos kind of switches time, the time frame, she remains, and so she's but she's tired and can't really compete. But with Captain Marvel, she's just really beating him, and he has to take an Infinity Stone. Almost, he takes one of the Infinity Stones, gems, whatever, and it almost crushes it, punches it with it, and it really, it does weaken him a little bit. Despite all the hand wringing over their character, as well as unfounded rumors that Larson did not get along with her, because I got to look that up, because I don't think they're unfounded. It's very clear she'll stick around. Her movie, it did not make $1 billion worldwide. It grossed $1 billion, but it didn't make that. You got to take a lot of budget out, and there's a lot of goofiness behind, especially in the U.S. And Larson reportedly signed a multi-picture deal. Yep, Larson disputed media reports that that it was 7 movies, but whatever the number is, should certainly get a sequel because it's more or less automatic. When is the sequel coming out? They've said they're coming out with one, but there is 0 release date. Now, granted, I think the Black Widow movie is 5 years overdue, and they probably should have had a Black Panther 2 already in the works. Don't be surprised if it's Shang. Okay, it'll probably be another MCU movie where she's a supporting character. Yeah, and I think the phase 4 and 5 movies are going to really slow down. In particular, with Sony doing all the monkey business with Spider-Man. But which one? Okay, so it was directed. Okay, and Shazam did well enough for DC that he'll probably be back too, and that's a story for another article. Yeah, and that was actually a fun movie. So as long as she gets from MCU fans, I'm gotta make this smaller to fit it in. Part of the problem that people think she's too, she's not too cold. I don't know how much of what we see is prompting of people who, because you look at her in other stuff, she's smiling and having a great time. So I think some of it's just this is the way this character is. But anyway, why did that get larger? It fit perfectly, and now it doesn't. So anyway, so there you go. I think part of the problem with Captain Marvel is the reboot in 2012, right? It was 2012 that started the series. And then it got rebooted every 8-9 months, and it's been rebooted so many times in the last 6 years, it's ridiculous. That's the problem. And so where you have her finally show up in Infinity, where she takes out a ship by herself, she basically is, and I don't know, that girl power moment that's in Endgame is stupid because most of those people are suits, and I've also talked about this too. And she doesn't need their help anyway at all, and she don't need help from anybody, and she is too powerful. And but maybe that that knocked her back. Then she shows up at the end of the movie, but we'll see if they have any weaknesses for her. And the comic book is doing terribly. It started to pick up sales 3 months in a row, and then bam, it's back down again. So who knows? Who knows what they're going to do with the comic book? Part of the problem is she's not relatable, and people don't like her. And that's, do some better writing, better stories. So we'll see. So what do you think? Should she have been in the MCU sooner? Should she have been a part of the original Avengers? Maybe a part of Infinity War as opposed to just Endgame, maybe something previously. I don't know. I mean, they got her in 2016. It took, we didn't get her movie till 2019. So who knows? Maybe they could have introduced her and had her as part of stuff and then did a backstory later. So who knows? Who knows what's going on there? It's part of what they could have done. I mean, they've kind of sort of done it with some of the other characters. We're kind of getting this with Black Widow, Ant-Man, and Doctor Strange were sidebar ones that came in. Thor, he was there from the beginning, but better known. So yeah, maybe they could have done something where they introduced her and then backed it off. I don't know. So what do you think? Should she have been a part of it? Should she not be a part of it all? Should they come up with a better character, better actress, whatever? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you very much, and we will see you. Goodbye. Yeah, I know. I wish I could, I don't need these at 30 frames per second. Maybe I should just tone it down. I don't know. We'll see if the dogs are going to be quiet through this one. 3, 2, 1.